Hey friends, welcome back. Thanks for being here today. I'm having some technical issues with my display setup, so things are like a little weird. You probably won't, nothing, it's not going to impact anything with the sound. It's more just like what I look at when I'm recording, and I usually have two screens, and today I don't have two screens. I'm not sure what's going on. Anyway, this is going to be a pretty short, hopefully, episode. I'm recording this Monday, April 21st. It's the last day of spring break. It's the day I'm probably most grateful for. I'm so happy that we had this Monday off. Having Mondays off of school. And when I say we, I've been working. When I say we have off, I mean Ben has off of school, which kind of like dictates so much. And it's just nice to not have to run him around, and we didn't have to get up for school and like deal with homework. That all can start happening tomorrow. I've been working all day, which is fine. I'm at home and getting stuff done, and he's old enough where he can occupy himself, right? So if you're a parent of younger kids, you're probably like, oh my God, get them back to school. And when they're older, it's sort of like, okay, cool. He's like self-sufficient. I don't have to like plan things for him. Anyway, so a super short episode, and I'm going to do something I don't often do. And I'm going to talk specifically about a way we can work together that's brand new. And it's something that I have held off. Joey's in here. She's currently licking my light. It's something that I've held off on doing, and I don't know why. And really, it was kind of started by a former client of mine reached out a couple of weeks ago, and we were texting back and forth a bit. And she was like, if you did like one-off coaching sessions, I would do that. And I was like, really? Like, I've thought about it, but I've never done it. She's like, yeah. And so basically we did one, and it went great. And she was like, this is exactly what I needed. This was awesome. And then I posted about it on Instagram, and another former client reached out and was like, I'd like to do that. And I was like, okay. And I posted a little survey, and enough people responded that they would be interested that I was like, yeah, let's make this a thing. So it's a thing, and I'm calling it Power Hour Coaching. And it is 1 hour of FaceTime, but it's really more than that, because you're going to fill out an intake form, super short. It's like 3 questions, where you're going to share what's going on with you, what you would like help with, what your goals are, and where you see yourself 6 months from now. So that's going to give me kind of the background that I need. So I'm going to come in prepared, right? I'm not going to come in like, fresh off the boat, not knowing like what's going on with you. So it's going to be a really efficient use of our time. And we'll have an hour together to work through and basically create a roadmap for whatever is going on with you that you need support with. And then you're also going to have a week of basically on-demand email support so that you can check in. I'll check in with you, ask questions if we need to like kind of course correct anything. So as you're implementing this and putting it into practice in real life, you still have that support, right? I'm still there for you. You're not just like off on your own, like flailing through space. So it's an hour, but it's really more than an hour. It's probably more like actually 2 to 3 hours when you add in kind of the time I'm going to spend preparing and then the time that we have on email together. And right up front, I'll let you know it's $175, which, to be honest, I feel like it's like really a good deal. I wanted it to be affordable and doable, and just really give you a lot of value, because long-term one-on-one coaching, which is the way I have always worked with people, I've been coaching for 4 years, is an investment. It's a time investment. It's a financial investment. It's an energy investment. And so is this, right? $175 is certainly not nothing, but it gives you flexibility. It gives you options, right? So who is this for? This is really for anyone who is like, I totally love what Jordana shares, and I know that I could use her help, and I can list off 5 things I could use her help with, but I'm just not interested in long-term coaching because of financial reasons, because of time reasons, because it's just not something I want to do. I don't have the energy for it. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I don't care why not. That's not important. What's important is that now we have a way to potentially work together. And here's the crux of this, right? So much of what I talk about is about all or nothing thinking. And how can we move away from that in terms of food, in terms of exercise, in terms of how we talk to ourselves? But yet here I am offering a service that is in some ways all or nothing, right? You're either all in for 6 months, right? Because that's the minimum amount of time that we work together in one-on-one coaching, or it's nothing. And yes, I've had a couple of group offers over the years, to be perfectly honest. Like, they're not my favorite thing to do. And so it's like, well, what else is there, right? And I've thought to myself, well, is that enough time, right? We work together for 6 months in coaching because that is how much time you need to really be able to put into practice and consistently practice and get the results out of the skills that you are working on, right? And that that is now not no longer, or I can't find the words, that is not no longer true. It just means that you're going to be implementing and practicing on your own, right? Without me being there, without us engaging, without us kind of building on certain skills, right? We're going to map out the skills in our time together. And it's not going to be like 10 different things. It is still going to be 1 to 3 things, just like it would be in coaching, which we start in coaching, we would build on and add to that over time. Certainly, this is not the same thing as 6 months of one-to-one coaching. But it is also a really great way to get clarity on what you are struggling with and figure out a plan that works for your life, right? Because if you're out there and let's just talk about fat loss, right? You have been gaining and losing weight and you've tried different diets and you've done all these different things and it's like nothing is working and you keep regaining the weight and you're snacking at night and you don't know what to do and the weekdays feel good, but the weekends are like shit. And you keep trying different things and talking to friends and reading articles and blah, blah, blah. And you've even put into ChatGPT, like, what should you do? What we will do is figure out a plan for you that meets your goals, matches your lifestyle and your preferences. And then you will go off and you will execute that plan, right? So you will have a week for us to go back and forth for you to be like, well, this isn't quite working, or this worked really great, or what do you think I should do about this? Cool, we'll go back and forth. And then you're going to be on your own, right? That's the reality of it. And it doesn't mean we can definitely do another power hour, right? You could do a power hour a month later, or 2 months later, or 6 months later, or a year later, right? There's no limit to that, which is super cool. It's just more flexibility. And so you can use it, to be honest, like however you want to use it. In terms of like the frequency. Now that's to say, if you were doing it constantly, ultimately it's going to be better to invest in one-to-one coaching because we meet twice a month with that. You have on-demand Voxer support for that all the time, right? So there's certainly, in terms of like the logistics of it, right, different features to each that are, and it's, priced accordingly. But again, really this is about, I don't want it to feel like it's all or nothing. Like you either have to invest time, money, energy, and attention into 6+ months, or you don't get anything. That is like the antithesis of the way that I coach people and what I work on myself and what I'm supporting you to learn. And I sort of was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, how have I not done this sooner? And so again, it doesn't mean that because it's, quote, just 1 hour, that it has to be like this super small thing. It can be a big thing. It can be like, Jordana, I fucking hate how I look in the mirror. It can be that. It can be something, quote, as small as like, every day at 3:00, like I'm eating chocolate and it feels shitty and I don't want to do that anymore, right? It could be really specific. It's not because it's 1 hour that it has to be limited to something super tiny. We will address the challenge or the question in a way that works, right? If it's a bigger thing, there are going to be skills that we're going to work on to work with that. And it might mean that takes longer for you to get an outcome from that, right? If it's a smaller, more specific thing, you might get a result much sooner, right? That's kind of where the variability is. But in an hour, we can identify and talk through, obviously, what's going on and the skills that are going to meet that. Joey, hang on 1 second, friends. What are you doing? Real time. I'm probably not going to edit that out. I just looked over at Joey and she was like, I think, biting at the molding. So I had to give her a bone. Keeping it real here, people. Keeping it real. So there's no topic or question too big or too small is my point. And big things and or quote little things, right? And it's all very subjective how we label that, are all welcome. And I want to be really clear because this is meant to be all inclusive, right? This is meant to be a resource and a place to get support so that you feel like you can take action and not feel like you're stuck either on your own trying to figure it out from my Instagram posts and the diet diaries and listening to the podcast, which are great resources, But it's like, if you've been listening and you've been watching things and you've been like, oh, that sounds really cool, or I want to try that, or I tried that and it didn't work, or what would Jordana think I should do about this? Or I'm not really sure. I don't know how to explore this, or I'm not sure what skill to practice, or I tried that and it didn't work, or whatever it is. And you're like, what if I could just have some support? What if I could just like talk to her? And I'm not making it sound like I feel like I'm making myself sound like some guru. That's not the idea at all. But I know I have felt this way about people where I've followed them and listened to them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'd love to just talk to her and ask her what she thinks of this, or how would she do this, or what could work, or what should I be thinking about? What should I be practicing? What should I be working on? But there wasn't really a way to do that. It was either some like super high ticket offer or literally read my blog posts. I don't want that to be a thing. I want you to be able to have access and to get support in a way that you need it, not just in the way that I have necessarily created. Certainly 6 months of coaching and meeting twice a week and being in touch weekly or multiple times a week on Voxer is absolutely what is needed for a lot of folks. But it's not what's needed for everybody. And there's no right or wrong here. Different people need different things, just like different people need different foods, and we like different things, and we need, different amounts of protein, and we like different vegetables, and this food makes us feel like shit, and this food makes us feel often, and maybe it's the opposite for someone else. It's kind of the same thing. Different people need different levels and different formats of support. And I'm not sure why it took me so long for that to click in my brain. So that's really what I wanted to talk about. Did I keep it short? Again, I only have one screen and I'm like a little disoriented by it. Okay, 11 and a half minutes, not bad. There's going to be a link in the show notes to schedule. You just schedule. There's no consult. You sign up, you answer the intake questions, boom, that's it. If you've got questions, though, feel free to reach out. I'm always here, but there's not like a multi-step process with this. This is like a boom. Yes, I want to do this. Like I said, it's $175. It's our hour together the week afterwards. And that's really it. So thanks for being here. I'll be back next week. Thanks for listening to the little interruption. Maybe I decided to edit it out. And if I did, then you won't even know what I'm talking about. And more soon.